esteemed President of this academic session, Professor Rao, Dr. Sambasi Prasad sir, Dr. Raghunath Ghosh sir, esteemed moderator Dr. K. Bhimakumar sir, very esteemed delegates and very loving students. At the outset, I express my deep sense of gratitude for being with all of you to share my thoughts on the philosophy of a great philosopher of our country, Professor R.D. Ranade, Gurudev Ranade. You know that out of his contributions to philosophy and religion, his contribution of the Bhagavad Gita is outstanding. Why? I shall say, thousands of commentators, they have interpreted Bhagavad Gita in their own styles, own perspectives. But I am asking one question: who is really eligible to give any comment on the Gita or to teach Bhagavad Gita? I shall suggest you some names and you will say whether he is fit or not. Take the name of Dhritarashtra. Suppose Dhritarashtra will teach Bhagavad Gita, then who will be the audience? Only Kauravas will listen. So now you see who is eligible and who can be eligible to teach Bhagavad Gita. Suppose Dhritarashtra is a very bad name, negative name. He was not only blind physically but also blind in Manobuddhi Chitta Ahankara. So we cannot expect Bhagavad Gita from a blind person who is physically and intellectually blind. Even you take the great name Guru Dronacharya, is he fit? Is he eligible? No. Because he made very partiality to his students. Gurudev is not a partial teacher. Teacher is he who does justice, who gives justice to the students. That is what we know as Guru. Dronacharya is not Guru. He is not eligible to teach Bhagavad Gita. Therefore he could not teach. Only Lord Krishna is eligible to teach Bhagavad Gita. And also I am taking another name, Pitamaha Bhisma. He is also not eligible. When there is an address of fighting, or there is a cause of fighting to establish dharma, so there should not be any other perspective to side with any group, any community. So any plea for not supporting dharma is not good. So Pitamaha Bhisma is also not eligible to teach Bhagavad Gita. Now we may think of Pancha Pandava, the five great, very well qualified brothers. All are PhD holders. Arjuna was PhD holder in Dhanuvidya, and all five. Professor Bhima was PhD holder in Gada, and Yudhishthira was PhD in Dharma, but they also fail because you know why they fail, why they can teach Bhagavad Gita. So only one person who is eligible to teach Bhagavad Gita, he is Lord Krishna, because he was a transcendental figure. Transcendental figure means who is impartial, who is Sthitabhagya, who has no partiality at all. Every person should be like that. And that is a mystical character. Mystical character means which cannot be described by any language. You cannot describe Bhyaktitva, personality, through any language, because he is beyond everything. So Lord Krishna is only eligible, and next to Lord Krishna, if I shall take any name, is the revised version of Arjuna. The Arjuna in Visad Yoga, no, he is not eligible to teach Bhagavad Gita, but to learn Bhagavad Gita. But when he learned Bhagavad Gita from Lord Krishna, now he became eligible. He can be eligible to teach Bhagavad Gita. That means a true teacher can teach Bhagavad Gita and a true student can teach Bhagavad Gita. If you are, any one of you is not a true teacher, you can become a true student. So either you become a Lord Krishna or become a true Arjuna. So these two categories of people can teach Bhagavad Gita, and R.D. Ranade is just like Lord Krishna, and he is eligible to teach Bhagavad Gita. Why, I shall say? Because I went through his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, he made a very beautiful interpretation by introducing dialectical method. You know, the best use of reason is the dialectical method. What do we do in dialectics? In dialectics, we open our mind for criticism, to see the opposite. We are not biased by any perspective. If we have a thesis, we open the door for the antithesis. Then we go for the synthesis. So in the dialectics, there is a possibility of a synthesis. So Ranade, like Immanuel Kant, like Hegel, and like even Socrates and Plato, Ranade has given dialectical method in Bhagavad Gita. But his dialectics is different from other philosophers who have discussed dialectics. His Ranade's dialectic is not just like Hegelian dialectic, because Hegelian dialectic is just logical. Just have a conceptual analysis of thesis, antithesis and synthesis. But Ranade is introducing dialectics relating to human experience. So we all know two polar opposites cannot coexist because they will lead to contradiction. But in Ranade's philosophy, polar opposites can coexist. In Isavasya Upanishad, you know, there is a beautiful verse. Tat ajati tat na ajati tat dure tat antike. When we describe Brahman, we can describe him in such language. They may appear to be opposite, they may appear to be polar, but they can coexist. That means in logic, coexistence of contradiction is not possible. In mathematics, it is not possible. In empirical science, it is not possible. But in psychology, it is possible. In psychological exercise, I can think of both thesis and antithesis. Therefore, Shankaracharya is telling about neti, 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 neti. Thesis is neti, antithesis is also neti. So we can take both thesis and antithesis in psychological experience. That is called meditation. In meditation, when we meditate, we can become a Sakhi Bhava of both our life and death, both Sukha and Dukha, both form and formless, both manifestation and the unmanifest. We can see all our possibilities when we sit on meditation, and that is the real purpose of meditation. Meditation does not mean just Nama Japa of Lord. No, that is not. Nama Japa is not meditation. Meditation means you become Sakhi Bhava. You become Sakhi Bhava of your all possibilities. So this is Ranade. So entire Bhagavad Gita can be told in one sentence that it is a transition from Visada to Prasada. Visada means everything. So the contemporary philosophy and religion that says we are all Visadgrasta. That means there is crisis all the time. We are suffering from many types of problems. So we are suffering from Visada. So Bhagavad Gita starts with Visada Yoga, but Bhagavad Gita ends with Mukhya Sannyasa Yoga, that is Prasada. You cultivate, you culture your mind, you control your senses, you meditate, you have God realization, then your Visada will become Prasada. That is the goal of life. So my dear students, you should be optimistic, you should be very hopeful in your pursuit of education, pursuit of academic journey, only because of only being inspired by Gurudev Ranade. He has given 5 such antinomies, only 5 minutes, I shall conclude. 5 such antinomies. Thesis, antithesis and synthesis. Thesis is, he's saying, he's claiming that God, the very beautiful book, that Bhagavad Gita as God realization, that was the best book, I shall say. I have that book with me. I downloaded that from the internet. Only 10 rupees. That at that time this book was only 10 rupees. A very beautiful book. God can be personal, God can be impersonal, and God can be super personal. He has defined. That means we can have a bhakti yoga. That means we can conceive God as any name. He is not denying. And the beautifully Ranade is claiming that thesis, antithesis and synthesis, they all are accepted from different perspectives. In one state of mind, we can have Visishta Dvaita. We can believe in, we can worship, we can accept the manifestations, the many Visishta, Guna, Upadhi. And in another state, it is abstract principle. We can, in psychology it is possible. We can take everything as concrete, and by Pratyahara, by Patanjali Yoga, by Pratyahara, we can withdraw our mind from the Upadhis and we can establish it with the abstract principle that is impersonal. That God is both personal and impersonal. God is personal, God is impersonal, and God is both personal and impersonal, that is super personal. So that means you are always free to worship your God, to accept your God, either in thesis, antithesis or synthesis. This is number 1. Number 2, he is saying immanence, transcendence, and all pervasiveness. Same thing. Everything is immanent. We can see everything in everything. That is immanence. We can see the essence in the transcendence. That is transcendence. And all pervasiveness means it is both immanent and transcendent. So he is opening the door to all sides. He is not conservative, he is not confined to a particular perspective. And the third antinomy, he is speaking about activity, passivity, and emancipation. In my language, I shall say karma, karma yoga, and karma sannyasa. Activity means karma. That means we have to work. Bhagavad Gita says we cannot stop at any moment not doing anything. Even you are listening to me, you are working. I am speaking, I am working. Even if you are talking, not listening to me, that is also a work. If you are absent-minded, that is also a work. So we cannot escape working at any moment. That is work. Then antithesis, karma yoga. That means if you are working, you should work with skill. Skillful working is karma yoga. Karma yogesu kausalam. You should know the kausala. What is that kausala? That kausala is niskama karma. Do your action in such a way that karma will not bind you. But the third synthesis is karma sannyasa. When karma is taken away from you, you don't be worried. If you have been assigned a karma, do it with karma yoga. If you are getting retirement, go home happily. If you hold your karma, that is your bondage. So karma, karma yoga, and karma sannyasa, this is one antinomy. In his language, he is saying activity, passivity, and emancipation. And the fourth and fifth, I shall complete. Fourth one is about mukti. He is saying vidya mukti, krama mukti, and jivana mukti. What is vidya mukti? Vidya mukti means you will be free from the cycle of birth and death. That means you will be no more, and you cannot experience that. Nobody can experience mukti without a body. Whenever I am experiencing mukti in with my body, that is called experience of mukti. When vidya mukti is attained, here there is no agent to experience it. So it is the final liberation. Vidya, no deha, you are not embodied. What is krama mukti? Gradually you are getting, you are experiencing mukti day by day, but through different ashramas, brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyasa. In this way, gradually you experience mukti, krama mukti. But the synthesis is jivana mukti. Jivana mukti means you don't need to die. You live. You take all responsibilities. You hold all challenges, you meet all challenges, but live freely. So that freedom is very much necessary, and that is taught by R.D. Ranade. And the last one is very, very important, that is moralism, super moralism, and beatificism. Beatificism is a very beautiful word that is coined by R.D. Ranade. What is moralism? Moralism means the moral instructions. We have many moral standards, hedonism, rationalism, perfectionism, so many moral standards. And also in the present time, we are talking about applied ethics. That ethics should be practical, that ethics which can help us practically, pragmatically, that we should take that. So telling lies is also good. So that is moral concepts, moral theories. This is the theoretical aspect of moralism. But what is super moralism? When we are becoming critical about morality, that is meta-ethics. When you think about moral principles, that is meta-ethics. But he is talking about beatificism. He is telling that you don't discuss about moralism, either about morality, ethics or meta-ethics. You become ethical. You become Brahman. So knowing is becoming. You do something for the society, Lokaseva. In Bhagavad Gita, that is called Lokasangraha. Ranade is saying it is Lokaseva. You do all your works should be Jagya, all your worship should be like Brahma Jnana or Brahma Vidya. That means the experience of a Brahma. So Brahma Bhava. So he is saying beatificism means you whatever you know, you become that. So and what you become, as you become, so you know. You know and you become. Number one, as you become, so you know. That means when according to your layer of consciousness, you speak, act, and behave. So increase your layer of consciousness. So that is called transformation. So beatificism means transformation in life. You become a better version day by day. Be a man. Thank you.